Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Derek. Don't let the name fool you. On the channel, my name is definitely Derek, and this almost sounds like an ASMR video, but I assure you it's not. Hello everyone out there in internet land. My name is Derek. And welcome back if you've seen my last video, and welcome for the first time if this is your first time here. Yeah, let's get it started. I'm going to talk about my transition from Canon DSLRs to Nikon DSLRs. I didn't fully change from one brand to another. I still use both, but I predominantly use Nikons now for work. And if you didn't see my last video, I was a freelance photographer for about 10 years, during which I'd use Canon cameras, specifically the Canon 5D Mark III, and before that was a Canon 7D, and a few other ones here and there. But more recently, I am now a full-time staff photographer and photo editor, and I have switched to a Nikon system. For work now, I use a Nikon D850, and I've had people come up to me and when they talk about my setup, oh, why didn't you go with the D5 and stuff like that, and it's a bigger camera, it's more expensive, and it's like, well, more expensive doesn't always mean better. It's these cameras are really more focused on what you need as a photographer. So spending $6,000 for a camera in which you're not gonna use all the functions is kind of a bit of a waste. And I feel like that really goes to show how you've developed as a photographer, knowing what you want, knowing what you need for work, or I guess for some people, your hobby, your passion, and what you're trying to accomplish. But let's get back to the main point. So initially, Canon 5D Mark III, great workhorse, stuck with me for years. I mean, they're just like most like the higher tier cameras. They're solid as hell. Well, I'm really going off on a tangent, but that's not important. So now I use a Nikon D850 for my full-time job. I guess now during this as you can tell, this is during a pandemic, so there's really no photograph to be taken. Occasionally I have photo shoots for products, but now people send them to me, and I'll photograph it here and then send it back. I've had some people ask why I didn't go with the D5 and then I guess now D6 from Nikon, and this goes back to what I said earlier. It was mainly because I needed a camera for what I was going to shoot for this job. It was predominantly product shots, a lot of portraits, and occasionally actually a good amount of events, but they were all corporate events. They weren't like people running around all the time, people throwing a ball, and a lot of stuff I shoot goes to print, so I need that resolution. I think it's 45 megapixels right off of this one, so it's definitely a good amount of real estate to work with. And for portraiture, especially when I go into retouching, having that resolution helps a lot. So yeah, I guess not really much about the transition. I mean, the transition wasn't hard. Like, the camera brand shouldn't really matter. It's really about you as a photographer. As long as you understand how to take a picture and why your settings are the way they are. That's all that really matters. Like, a camera isn't gonna make you a better photographer. And I think that's the thing a lot of people have, especially when they're starting out. A lot of big misconceptions that I need the best gear to shoot the best photos, and no, you don't really need the best. You don't need the best gear. Differences. So Canon menu, Nikon menu. I think that's the biggest difference. That a lot, when it comes to changing from one brand to another, learn their menu settings. And that's about it. Otherwise, transition was pretty easy. Just go from one camera, has ISO, aperture, shutter speed, go to the other one, it has the exact same things. So go with the gear. This is such a stupid video. But thanks for stopping by. and try to come up with something next week. If you have anything that you want to see, hear, or put a comment below. Yeah, I mean, I guess stuff we can talk about. My experience going from freelance to full-time, my experience as a freelancer, working as a creative in a corporate environment. What else? Oh, academics, in terms of does it really matter for photographers to go to college? I did go to school. I did go to school for photography for a little bit, but by then I was already working a significant amount. So I decided to get my degree in film, just to diversify. Talk about the weather. I can talk about the weather. That works. Why am I going to talk about the weather? Anyways, thanks for stopping by, and see you next time.